but not yet. He tripped. Did she jump? And maybe that you'll take your dress. Oh yes, I can. It's very easy to flip.
So, if you guys don't know, Mother Mary is a 2026 musical psychological drama thriller that follows the relationship between a world-famous pop star Mary and her estranged fashion designer and former partner Sam. But before we get into further details and discuss their whole situation relationship, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I just want to say, if you guys go and watch this movie, please keep an open-minded. Yeah, you have to be very open-minded and keep your ideas open, because this, even though they were former partners, they used to work together and all of that, this is not a typical romantic movie where it would just be like two people that were super in love and caring for one another turning out to be enemies, not speaking and rekindling stuff. Now this one is very like intense. I'm telling you, there's a lot of emotional, situations going on between them, and it's not about physical touch or physical connection, but it's more like, mental and emotional connection on how they are trying to heal from what happened, with them too in the past, and also trying, to live in this reality of two opposite or also same time a very similar world that they live in. But keep an open minded. You have to be very open minded, because this is not just a regular romance type of movie. Like, it's very different from other lesbian, romances that you will see out there. So just something that I wanted to say before we get into further details regarding their relationship. So the story begins with Sam delivering a bitter narrative, about Mary, a global, pop icon who recently, retreated from the public eye. Days before she is scheduled to make her big and massive career comeback by debuting her new single. In this case, Mary in this case suffers an intense panic attack, and she actually ends up leaving the country to go after Sam, who is in the countryside at her fashion is basically a state that she had built for herself. So it's like a countryside house, and she asks in this case Sam for help to create the perfect dress for her comeback, because the dress that was designed for her, it just doesn't match her, and she feels like since this is her mega comeback, she wants something to make sense and basically, just understands her, and nobody can get her the way in this case Sam's get her visions. So they actually end up reuniting after a decade without seeing each other or even having no type of communication, though there's like the introduction of their story. Obviously, when Sam saw, Mary coming through the door, just desperately, wet in the rain, like just emotionally broken, obviously, Sam at the beginning, she was trying to understand why now, like why Mary decided to come back to her now and ask for help now, but obviously, Sam also has her own, visions and ideas on how to handle, Mary, because like I said, they've known each other for a very long time. So they know how to emotionally manipulate each other to get, the answers that they want or that they specifically need in that moment. So obviously Sam decides to help out Mary with the dress. So as they go on this journey to work together for the perfect dress, you can see that the long, buried emotional wounds, starts to come to light. Keep in mind that, this is not a traditional romance. You can just see how Sam wants Mary to understand how much she hurt her, how much pain she went through, how she felt left out, how she felt like Mary just left and abandoned her without communicating. On the other hand, Mary felt like she didn't want to abandon Sam. She just wanted to do a different vision, because, Sam, she was in charge of creating this fashion like aspect of Mary to turn her into what she was when it comes to fashion sense. But also Mary felt like there came a time that she wanted something different, even though, Sam created this beautiful, fashion icon in like in the aspect of fashion and music together for Mary. Mary feels like that wasn't her identity, but she didn't want to lose Sam. But obviously she also didn't know how to communicate that to Sam, and she somewhere somehow end up, parting Sam from her life, and not only as a fashion designer but as a partner as well. So you can just see them going through diverse, how can I say, like moments that they had together, also one trying to describe to the other one like their pain, and the other one describing to the other one their pain, but while at the same time they are working on this vision to make, this perfect comeback dress for her. So like I said, keep in mind you have to have a very open minded, because this is not like a romantic romantic. It's more like a dark romance type of vibe. So basically, the only condition for Mary was is that she didn't want her dress to be red. So that was something that at the beginning I couldn't get. Why doesn't she want the dress to be red? But later on, as the movie goes by, you can see that it's actually because of a situation that happens, which later on we get to understand by the end of the movie. That has something to do with the red ghost, you know. So there was something that kind of cut my brain off while I was watching the movie because I was so into the movie trying to understand the conversations and what, you know, they were speaking about and just dealing with each other about. And then the red ghost thing came into the scenario, trying to make sense why she didn't want the red to be part of her dress. And she also didn't want a halo to be part of her vision because even though it's something that iconically stood her out every single time, she wants something like just to just to be like a reset of everything. So there's a lot that goes on, guys. It's a lot. But one thing I have to say is that the scenario of the film is very simple. I feel like they will had like, if I'm not mistaken, maybe like five different scenes. You know, most of the scene, like basically 90 or 80% of the scenes of the movie is basically set like in Sam's country house, but in different departments of the house. Maybe like in her studio, and then later on you can also see it like them doing something else somewhere else, but majority is like in the studio creating the dress and just trying to get and bring this vision to light, you know. But more of the story, I have to say, like, guys, the movie is very difficult to explain because, like I said, it's very different. All I know is that they worked together. Both of them felt hurt on how things ended between them. Both of them want the other one to understand the pain that they went through, but also while they are still going through their own personal pain. So it's complicated. Like it's very, very complicated. So basically, by the end of the movie, you can say that the ending illustrates both the women confronting their painful past and transforming mutual suffering into art by physically extracting the supernatural red ghost from Mary's chest. So I feel like there was a moment that, you know, the writer wanted to tell us that, hey, finally, after everything they went through, they finally can come to a point of healing and understanding that, hey, maybe things didn't work out because they wasn't meant to work out, but I'm happy that after years and years and years of being apart, and after we went through this journey trying to create the perfect dress for you, we could find, you know, healing and basically just, you know, somewhere somehow forgiving each other, but also understanding that things will never go back to how it used to be. But at the end, you can see them just like on the stage intertwining with one another, basically like a reconnection between the two. But I don't know if it's on a romantic level or if it's just like on a healing level. So yes, guys, it is a lot. I know it's a lot. Like the movie, like I said, once again, I would say keep an open mind. If you guys want more details regarding it, I will highly recommend you also go to Prime Video and also other streaming platforms where you can also rent it out. And if you have watched it, also let me know your personal opinion on it down below in the comments. It will be very helpful. But I will definitely rate this movie a strong 7 out of a 10. I thought it would be better than what it actually was. But one thing I have to say is that the chemistry between the ladies were amazing.